Wow, I didn't know these things about Jimi Hendrix. What's up, my beautiful soul family? How's everybody feeling today? I got the request from J. Dor Conjure 16. She wanted to know about the legendary Jimi Hendrix. So what I'm going to do today is a reading on Jimi Hendrix to see what led him into drug use. Now, before I start this reading, I just want to put out this disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Everything I state in this video is just my interpretation of the cards. Nothing I state in this video have been proven to be fact as of now. So now that we done got that disclaimer out the way, let's shuffle these cards and let's see what led Jimi Hendrix down the path of drugs that he went down. So I asked the cards, what led Jimi Hendrix down the path of drugs that he went down? I'm going to start pulling cards and we can start analyzing. Okay. So with the first row, you got the Strength reversed. You got the Fool card upright. You got the Nine of Swords reversed. And you got the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the second row, you got the Two of Swords reversed. You got the Eight of Wands reversed. You got the Six of Cups reversed. And you got the World card. So I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to try to connect with these cards to see what I can find. So Jimi Hendrix suffered some kind of trauma. His past haunted him a lot. There was a trauma in his past that happened. Let me see. He had a lot of demons from his past, like a lot of mental, I'm not going to say he had mental problems, but he had things that kind of made him depressed, or at least, feel depressed. I get a sense of PTSD from him. And I also get a sense of feeling insecure within himself. You know what I mean? And I think he was just introduced to it. He got, like, the opportunity came around him to try drugs. And he did it so that he could feel good about himself and feel fulfilled. Let me see. There was a part of Jimi Hendrix that turned to substance abuse because he felt very afraid. He had a lot of anxiety. He had a lot of problems that he didn't really share with other people. A lot of times he felt like a failure inside of himself. Like I said, he had a lot of deep-seated insecurities, and I feel like it comes from his upbringing. Let's see. He lost a lot of money with his drugs, with his drug use and stuff like that. And when he lost a lot of, I'm going to clear out the first couple of cards just so we can start reading on more cards. All right. Now, let me pull another. A lot of times those drugs being under the influence clouded his judgment a lot. He just wanted, I feel like Jimi Hendrix turned to those drugs because he was looking for an escape, or at least like some way to kind of calm the upset and the emotional issues that he was dealing with internally. He had a lot of internal conflict within himself. You know what I mean? But a lot of times those drugs actually made him make bad decisions, and it changed him into a different kind of person. Like he could be nasty, you know what I mean, and angry when he was under the influence of drugs. And I get the sense that he also did a bit, that he was a drinker too. He was a heavy drinker. Let me see. So, like I said, there is mood disorders. His mood sometimes changed and was unstable. This was due to him. I think there was some undiagnosed, like I said, depression and PTSD there. He was not very fulfilled and happy within his life. And I think it stemmed back to his family life growing up. Especially, there were some things that went on with his mom. And there were some secrets he didn't want getting out. He felt a lot of pain and hurt from his mom. I don't know what happened with him and his mom or whatever. But there was something that went on with his mom. And because of that, he always felt unhappy. He felt unfulfilled. He felt like a failure at times. He didn't feel like, he didn't see himself the way the world seen him. The world see him as Jimi Hendrix, but I think he saw himself as like a loser. So those drugs was used as a coping mechanism. All right, so to pull more cards. Yeah, see again the mommy issues coming in. Something happened with his mother, you know what I mean? And at the same time, he started getting a lot of fame. He started getting rich. You know what I mean? I think this was offered to him, and he took the offer. I think the drugs was offered to him. Now, the Chariot reverse. I'm trying to see what that is talking about. I think things got out of control once it was offered to him because he got more addicted than what he anticipated on getting. I think he started out as he wanted to just try it, but it became very it got a hold of him, you know what I mean? So he did. I think he also felt like being under the influence helped him play better music. Like I think he wrote some of his, well, I'm not gonna say he wrote music, but he was a very good guitarist. I think he wrote music. I'm getting the feeling that he did, and I'm getting the feeling that he felt like he was more creative when he was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Like it helped his creative juices flowing. But really it wasn't very good for him, and a lot of times he also got into some conflict with others when he was under the influence. He got into this, like I was saying, in his teenage years. The drugs. This is what I'm seeing in the cards. Like he got into this in his teenage years. And I think he let me see. He came from a very unstable home life. Something went on with his parents' marriage that was just that's what was the root of his trauma. It scarred him. This was from when he was a kid. So you got the Ace of Wands right here. Yeah, I think he was always paranoid too when he was on the drugs and stuff. He was always paranoid. He always felt burnt out and exhausted. The drugs took a hold of him. You know what I mean? It brought him it was his downfall. But it was his only way. It was his coping mechanism. So because he didn't really, he wouldn't accept the fact that he needed help. Like he needed rehab and he needed therapy. Like, it was just like basically self-medicating. He used it as escapism. Especially the more money he made, the more he got hooked on the drugs. And he experimented with multiple kinds of drugs. Let me see here. Yep, see, I'm seeing the multiple choice. The multiple drugs. And he built relationships so that he could get drugs. You know what I mean? Like people that he knew could score him drugs in the industry, or not just in the industry, but just period. He built bonds with people that he knew can score him the drugs. He was Jimi Hendrix a fire sign male? I'm getting Sagittarius. Was Jimi Hendrix a Sagittarius? So anyways, those drugs though made him feel lonely a lot. It made him feel isolated from other people. He really retrieved into himself, into his own world. So then this is the card of travel. He traveled the world, but he would travel for drugs. And this caused him to have a falling out with a lot of people. He just felt trapped and oppressed by this drug habit of his. But it was also a way where if it helped him escape whatever it is he was hiding from, whatever trauma that went on in his past that he didn't want to deal with. He spent lots and lots of money on his drug and alcohol abuse. Lots and lots of money, to the point where I'm getting the feeling that he was indebted to some people because of drugs. He owed them some drugs. Like I said, he refused to go through detox and recovery. He was wealthy. He was a creative guy, but he had a lot of demons he was battling. And that's what brought about his ruin and his end. Now, I'm seeing the Emperor reverse, which I'm seeing either he had a father that he didn't particularly get along with, or it made him no, I'm getting the feeling that when Jimi Hendrix was high, he ruined relationships because it made him talk disrespectfully to others. It made him violent towards others, or at least it just turned him into a nasty individual when he was high. Not to mention he also lied to himself and lied to others about his drug use. I think he really believed that he was more in control of his drug use than he actually was. But his drugs ended up being the way he left this world. But he did earn a lot of money, and he could have actually, you know what I mean, really been even higher in his career had it not been for them drugs. Now, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that his parents divorced when he was little because there was a lot of conflict and fights. I think this is the trauma from his past that he could not let go of and he couldn't really cope with and handle, so he used drugs as a way of coping and handling it. So you got the devil, which was addictions. Now, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. This was how he lived his life. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. He had plenty of sex, he had plenty of drugs, he had plenty of rock and roll. You got the harem reverse, which, like I said, then you also got the King of Cups in reverse. I'm seeing like somebody that was dishonorable and upstanding. I wonder if Jimi Hendrix had a side to him that was I hope he wasn't like a okay, I'm gonna completely come out and say what I'm feeling. I feel like it was a very lustful side to Jimi Hendrix. And he had a tendency that if you don't give him what he wants, he could take it. You get what I'm saying? He also had some illegitimate children. This is what I'm seeing. So it was best to comply with him. He can make rash decisions and could be very sassy as an individual, even when he was a young kid. But he also was an emotional child. He also had an emotional child. He is very skillful, very masterful. Like I said, he could have went so much further than he did, but because of the drugs, he ended up stagnating and passing away at the age of 27. So I'm out of cards. That means that I'm going to end this reading right here. Tell me what you guys think about this reading. Do you believe that Jimi Hendrix suffered a trauma from his past, from his parents or whatever the case may be, and had mommy issues, and maybe this is what led him down the road to drugs? Thank you for tuning in, my beautiful soul family. I'll see you guys in the next video. You have a good one.